Hey everyone, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Kicker, the Chief of Cereal and Sigilite of the FLG, Nicky Dee Cannon, Flannel Fan, and Blood Angel Extraordinaire, and I'm Seth, the Mad Dok, your competitive correspondent. How have you boys been doing?
Dude, I am doing fantastic. I got back from Cherokee and I got bit by the hobby bug, and I'm like, I gotta get to work. Can we show this all? Yes, look at this. This is okay. I know it's my typical earth tone colors. We've got a kind of a tan white. We've got a dark olive green, but ignore that. Those are ghost keels. For those of you who don't know, those are Tau models, and they are weathered to the extreme. Seth. Okay, Seth is just grinning here. Just say it, Seth. Say what you want to say.
No, I wanted to tell the story about Dice and you this weekend, but that's it. We'll wait for you to finish, and then I'll tell.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna brag about my hobby progress real fast because I drove like a madman to get home and got passed out. And the next day, I stayed up late learning how to weather. And guys, I don't know if you know this little product from Monument Hobbies. It has been liquid gold. It's
the reverse weathering stuff.
Yeah, it's dude, it's weird. It's NEWSH by Monument Hobbies. I have never used a Monument Hobby product before. I gave it a try, and wowzers! It's you basically paint your model and then you cover it over in sludge and then use a sponge to remove everything, and you get this really cool natural weathering finish. So I'm very proud about that. But Seth, that was my hobby progress. Obviously, we were all in Cherokee this past weekend.
Yeah, we were.
I know you were busy. What were you doing in Cherokee? You were rolling some dice, right?
We were rolling some dice. We'll talk about our Cherokee experience more in a minute. But I did want to, while we had your model up on the screen there, I do want to tell the story, Kicker.
Okay, tell a story.
Because Kicker had set up one of the FLG tables right next to the kind of front booth that he was working in. He was playing games throughout the weekend.
No, Seth, that table was not for games. It was purely a demonstration.
We were demonstrating how to play a game. Yeah, I saw
on the FLG table.
Now I had been rolling. We make custom dice for every event, and I was rolling the Cherokee dice, and I got to say, I was not enthused with the statistical results of the Cherokee dice, and I kept trying to get Kicker to roll the dice while he was demonstrating his game on the table, and he loudly proclaimed to me that no, he won't, because his dice matches army, and his army was that like OD military tan, similar to this ghost keel here, and his dice were black and dark green. And I looked at him and I said, "These match?" And he's like, "Yeah, they match." And I'm like, "No, they don't, Kicker." He's like, "Yeah, they do." I was like, "You need tan dice to match." And he's like, "Well, no one makes tan dice." And I was like, "Kicker, you work for a company that makes dice." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I don't want to make 1,000 dice just for myself." I was like, "You run a military appreciation event in July where you can make military color themed dice."
Done deal.
He was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." I told that same story to Adam Solis earlier this week, and he didn't have the same reaction you did, Kicker. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're right, we do." And I'm like,
so guys, when you're getting at the Lone Star Open, you are getting tan dice purely because I want them for my own army. Seth, wonderful point. I love having you as a friend because you bring such valuable insight to me all the time.
The insight being black and green don't match tan.
Well, the black and green was like kind of a camo vibe going with my guard army. I know. I'm trying.
Anyway, but I saw those models and I went, boy, the tan dice and match those too.
The tan dice will definitely match those. Okay, so my hobby progress, I got some painting. We ran an event. Seth, did you actually get any hobby progress?
I did. So as listeners of the show know, I did say that this year I wanted to start all the Xenos armies except for GSC. And oh, hey, John McCardle there. John's in the super chat. Congrats on another great event. Thanks, John. Sad we didn't get to see you there, but it was good seeing you at LVO, bud. And we did get a good time hanging out. Train of thought. John just disrupted it.
Your new army.
Yes. I bought a bunch of the Leviathan sets of Termagants from the secondhand shop. It was a good deal. I think I got like 60 or 70 gaunts. I got a lot of gaunts.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of that. And then I was like, all right, this is a basic troop. This is great for like whenever I really decide to build the army out, I'll have the basic troops. And it's always fun to kind of start testing your paint scheme on a basic troop. So I did, my buddy has Tyranids, Brian. I wanted to do something sort of like his. So I kind of based on my scheme. So I did do a test scheme. If Nicky Dee can pop that up. I don't know if I actually put it in the notes now that I said it out loud. I did not. All right.
Okay,
Well,
use your
Nicky
imagination,
Dee.
people.
So I did a
Right.
blue body. My buddy's nids are red bodied with black carapace and purple highlights. I want to do the black carapace and the purple highlights. I didn't have the right purple when I got home, so I ordered that from FLG. But I did do a blue body, and then I wanted to do a little green for like the talons and claws and stuff. So I threw that in there. I now feel bad that I'm vamping, waiting for Nicky Dee to find this at the last minute.
Seth did share it in our.
I did share it on the Frontline Gaming community page. So you can always go over there and check it out.
And when you texted it to me, I was like, "Oh, damn, that looks good, Seth. That looks good."
Yeah.
And, that's
And I
not a
used
color
if
palette
we're
we
plugging Monument Hobbies, I decided rather than using traditional like GW washes, I went with the Monument Hobbies transparents as my washes because they are much darker and much more pigment saturated, and it really gave a lot of depth to the blue and green. So I liked it. It was happy. I liked how it came out.
Well, I can
But
vouch
anyway,
for you, Seth. They look great. Let's
well,
bring
go
in our
over to
friend.
the hobby page and check it out on the Frontline Gaming community page.
All right, look at that. Look at that. Look at the nice plug. Thank you. Hey, there's Nicky Dee. What have you been up to, man? So you were you were at Cherokee, but you got some hobby timing, and I know you've been bragging about it to us.
I'm very excited. I realized after Cherokee, I missed Nurgle. I went away from Chaos.
I was
for a
like, "Is
few
this
weeks.
you saying you got a sickness?"
Yeah,
No. I'm clean bill of health, guys. Clean bill of health. No worries there. But I played Necrons at a trios tournament. I dabbled, went back to dabbling with demons, and then I played Blood Angels at Cherokee. We'll talk about that later. But especially after playing Dan, I forget his last name, in round 1, he actually was one of the top 4 at Cherokee. He had a great Death Guard army, and then just as I went through the event and just looking, I miss Nurgle, so I am painting a Death Guard, or maybe it's maybe Death Guard, it's maybe Chaos Demons Demon Prince. So working on that right now. I think I'm going to be playing Death Guard for a while. I think that's the train that I'm set on.
Cool. Going far from grace, going from Blood Angels to Death Guard, man, going all the way to the other side of the world. No, very cool. Guys, I know we're going to be talking a lot about Cherokee.
Yep.
I will tell you that after an event, I just always have extreme hobby, I guess, eagerness. I don't know. I'm just ready to build the next list or just, I mean, I can only imagine how you guys are feeling. Seth, though, you're going to stick with your Necrons for the next tournament?
Well, so the next tournament I have is 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So you're sticking with
2 or
those.
3 weeks. Yeah. So I'm probably not changing for now. Nicky Dee, if you check the slides, I may or may not have added a certain Tyranid to the slides. I may or may not. I don't know. You know,
may or may not. We'll see. We see. Oh, I think we see it. I think there we go. Look at that. We know
there he is. There's my little Gaunt, Termagant. Yeah, so I like the blue. I like the green. The purple on the tongues and the cables, I want to do with a different purple. So, like I said, I ordered some new colors, and then I want to highlight the carapace with purple. So, that by no means done, but kind of getting an idea of where I'm going.
But isn't it fun to go to the polar opposite? You've been painting robots, right? Zero organic elements, and now you're painting nids, zero non.
That's why I like it.
Yeah,
that's and I part of me wanted to do it with contrast, but I was like, contrast is fine and it's great when you're trying to get your army painted quickly, but I'm not in a rush to paint this army, so I was like, let's take my time and like really try to make them pop. So here we are. Anyway, let's get into the industry news kicker. What's been going on?
So, we're going to keep it a little faster tonight. We don't really have anything specific regarding Games Workshop, nothing too crazy. I will tell you, though, some pre-orders are going up this weekend, and Old World is getting a lot of love. We're getting new and returning models for both Tomb Kings and Bretonnia. Specifically, let's talk about the new stuff. We're getting the Tomb King on Bone Dragon. This is a monster of a set.
They've previewed this. This was not in the release box set, though, right?
I believe so.
I don't think it was in the release box yet, but they've previewed images of this one, so we knew this one was coming. So it's finally got its model release, which is exciting for those Old World players out there.
And they're getting an emissary of Cetra. I can't say any of this stuff, man. I'm sorry.
Nakaf, emissary of Cetra.
I know. Skip the first word because I'm like, is that like a
you Nakafed, and then
Nakafed.
There you got it.
I wonder if any of these are like Egyptian name. Well, like is that
they're supposed to be Egyptian themed. I don't know if they're actual Egyptian names.
Okay. But then also we're getting these shiny new models, but we're also getting skeleton warriors and archers, which are plastic. We're getting skeleton horsemen and chariots and knights of the realm, lords, knights on foot. Let's focus on those knights on foot, green knights, and the prophetess of the lady. I don't know what the hell that is, but the knights on foot are actually a new kit.
Yeah.
And they are just gorgeous. I'm like, whoa, this is cool. And it's kind of weird the dichotomy that we're getting with the old world. You're getting like old models that are like 20, 30 years old. I don't know, right next to brand new sculpts. So it is entertaining. The two kits though, the old and the new, do look correct. Like they're all scaled.
They match. Yeah.
They match. Yeah. So, okay. Now this is really exciting. Horus Heresy.
Of course it was. I was waiting.
I can't help but get excited, guys. It's basically guardsmen. The Solar Auxiliary Battle Group is going. Seth is like, I'm just going to leave now. We don't need to talk about more guardsmen. But this is the new battle group. They showed these at LVO. This is where the formal announcement was. Everyone was really stoked. It was this big live preview. But no one knew the price, and we now know. I believe the price is out there, right, Seth? I mean, I think it's. I know somebody puts the price online publicly, like one of those things, and I'm pretty sure it's going for $210. Now, that's a lot of value for that 210s. Now, you're comparing this to say the Guard box set, which had our artillery piece and like a sentinel and some squad, infantry. This has 2 big vehicles and a sentinel plus all the infantry, yet it's about the same exact price, if not the exact same price. And I know, Seth, the orc, the beast snaga, whatever, the beast boy, what was in that set? Do you remember what that set was?
It was 20 beast snaga boys, 3 squig hog riders, a knob on smash a squig, a Zodrog wart snaga.
That was it. So that's a great set, but like this set in particular just has so much more going. You're basically getting 3 vehicles and the 20 plus, infantry. So I don't know. I'm kind of
and you definitely, if you wanted to, I guess could use it for 40K, kicker.
Yeah. I know that I was in some of the 40K chats and everyone's like, of course these are guardsmen. Of course. Like what else are they?
Kicker. I was actually saying a pre-show. I have a kinsmanship now with the guardsmen. I've been playing Helldiver 2 this last few days, and it's basically playing guardsmen. Particularly Krieg guardsmen with a very low survival rate and cloning. Lots of cloning.
Oh, so is it a game that you really have to focus on, or is it something you can just kind of play while like half-assing it? Like, is it?
No, you'll die very quickly.
Okay.
The definitely not Necrons and definitely not Tyranids will eat you in a heartbeat.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Nicky Dee, have you played Helldiver? I know that you're nodding your head behind the screen there. Is this a game that you're familiar with?
A friend brought it up to me as basically like, hey, would you want to play Starship Troopers from the point of view of like one of the many Starship Troopers? Which, let me tell you, yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. Hard. Yes.
I actually was playing it with one of our judges last night, Jorge, who's I literally just said the man's name and then watched him log on to Helldivers. The notification popped up on my screen the second I said it.
He's doing it.
So they're just not waiting for me.
But by the way, guys, just throwing this out there, Starship Troopers still holds to the test of time. Like, it's still a quality movie. Like, that is,
Kelsey points out, I'm probably not a guardsman when I'm playing Helldivers. I'm probably more like a Scion or a Tempestus.
Yeah, that's good. No, I guess I'd rather be a Scion. Like, you're still
anyway. I have kinsmanship with the Solar Auxilia now. I know their woes.
Seth, I'm getting you a box of guardsmen. Just
I'm good. I don't need. I literally just started a horde army of gaunts. I don't need.
You can use them as like the cannon. You can use them like as basing material for your gaunts. Right?
I actually haven't figured out what I'm doing. I might just do the same like space, like gray, Astro turf stuff, like Astro Grand and stuff I did for the Votan on them. I don't know. I haven't figured that far ahead.
I'm just throwing this out there. You could take my hobby advice, or you could just piss on it, whatever you'd want. But I don't. Is that a thing? Do you piss on things that you don't like? I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's a British term, right? Or that's to take the piss out of something, right?
There we go. All right. Well, you don't have to take my hobby advice, but I am going to say that if you have a bright colored model like your name, then you might not want to have bright colored basing because
and that's what I'm thinking. Like the gray kind of
But I want to do like the fluorescent tufts that you love with your Votan, because those.
And then I'm saying, I'm thinking of just doing literally the same basing scheme as the Votan, because I think they would pop on. I don't know. I got to mess around with them more.
All right, well, have fun with
that. Again,
we're
far from finalizing the plan.
We've also got some other characters coming up for pre-order. We got a White Scar dude. We got another Dark Emissary console. We got some Apothecarian thing with different poses for Space Marines. Basically, more 30K
more Space Marines.
More Space Marines. That doesn't surprise anyone. There's always Space Marines. Have any of you guys used the 30K Horus Heresy models for 40K Space Marine conversions or proxies?
I did once upon a time when I was working on a Fallen Army. I don't know that I have any in the actual Space Marine Army I have. So,
Nicky D, have you? I know you're kind of our Space Marine fanboy here. Have you used 30K models for 40K yet?
Myself, not personally, but it's funny you mentioned that because I've been looking at some of the Horus Heresy Predator kits as a modified ball Predator, or as I'm restarting Death Guard. I like the Horus.
I have important news about the Horus Heresy Ball Predator kits.
Let's
I
hear it.
recently learned from a friend of mine that there is a Ball Predator, or not a Ball Predator and a Predator support tank. They are different, and they have different sponsons and different turret weapons. So if you're doing something like that, make sure you're looking deep into the details of which kit you're buying. And wrong kit.
I have been made aware of that, but yeah, as I'm restarting or doing my Death Guard, like, do I want a 40K Chaos tank, or do I want like an old school, Horus Heresy Dusk Raider, tank from my Plague Marines? I kind of want the old version. I kind of think it looks cooler, actually. That's just my take. So I may have a mix.
Okay, and not trying to go down a tangent, but I'm going to do it really.
We've been on several already, but okay.
All right, I got some Necromunda characters, or Necromunda, I don't know the way to say it, and I thought they'd be perfect at like some guard characters, some HQ choices. No, they're just completely a different scale, and I've used a lot of the Necromunda kits in the past, but for like aliens or robots, or whatever. But the actual like human being scale is so different that it was really disheartening. Like I wanted to use one as a Krieg, and I'm like, this guy looks like an ogre, basically, not going to fly. So,
look, he had some extra space steroids in his corpse starch. Okay.
Right. His corpse starch was protein enhanced. All right. Let's go to some FLG news, guys. We have the Rocky Mountain Open. That is the next event that's happening next month in March. And holy fish sticks, it's gotten big. We've sold out of tickets for 40K and Age of Sigmar. I was able to, Star Wars Legion, take a few of your tables and give them to 40K.
And because I was like, I actually had some folks this weekend asking me what's the next FLG event, and I was like, next one's Rocky Mountain.
Yeah. Our truck, Mike Gandolfo, our driver and friend and associate, is at all the events. He is currently driving the truck back from Cherokee to, get it restuffed with product and tables and terrain for about a week. He'll be sitting in Vegas before it's on the road again. Back.
We're letting the road warrior. He's in chat here. He gets to have a week break.
Yeah, he gets a week off. I hope he gets some rest because Colorado's the next one. And
importantly, I think he needs to spend time with the family to make up for the fact that he's been being away.
Yes, yeah.
So he might not be allowed to get rest. He might have to take the family out or something. You never know.
Well, do what you need to do. Recharge your batteries because Colorado's big. We're going to need more terrain than I was expecting. I will be updating our inventory spreadsheet tomorrow. Sorry, my friend.
I'm sorry, but pack more stuff. Bye.
Well, I just looked at total tickets. I'm like, whoa, we got to add some more tickets because all the events have just sold out. So we did add a few more. Sadly, we detracted a little bit from Legion to accommodate the growth of 40K and Age of Sigmar. But I know we all care about large tournaments, but we also care about food, especially at tournaments. And this is, I'm pleased to say that Brandon Roddy, our boots on the ground, our regional community coordinator, and now officially one of our judges for the Rocky Mountain Open, he just texted me. Let me pull this up. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry for the delay. Here we go. So we will now have 4 food trucks. I think last year we had 3 food trucks. We're going to have Cheese Love Grill, the Rice Guy, the Denver Taco Truck, and then a mystery wild card food truck that I have yet to hear the actual name of. By the way, I love I love that one guy's just like, I'm the Rice Guy.
I'm Googling the Rice Guy. I'm intrigued.
I think the Rice Guy last year had like teriyaki chicken stirred over rice, and it was very, very enjoyable. Let's move on past Rocky Mountain Open. Seth, if you get any interesting comment, any interesting info on the Rice Guy.
I was just like, what is the rice? I'm like, I just want to imagine a dude with just a giant vat of steamed white rice. That's it.
That's it. Hey, that will fuel you. It's affordable. It's good.
No. I mean, it looks like I'm just pulling up his menu now because I'm curious. You pick your protein, and that looks like that shifts by the day, and then you pick your sauce and get some rice, and protein, and sauce.
Dude, playing a 40K tournament, that's an endurance sport. You need those carbs to keep you going. So you need your rice, right?
I have an important question from chat.
Oh, let's hear it, Nicky Dee.
Do we have an announcement on the combat juice or drink for Rocky Mountain Open yet? The chat wants to know because apparently people in chat and also Nicky Dee enjoyed it at Cherokee. So do you have an update for Rocky Mountain, or is that going to be? Are they going to have to pay attention to a future?
Well, Nicky Dee, for those poor souls who do not know what combat juice is, who've not been blessed with the sacred beverage of 40K tournaments that is known as combat juice, why don't you give a little background, a little quick history on combat juice, Nicky Dee?
Yeah, well, Combat Juice, I believe, launched at LVO, but basically it's the FLG event cocktail, signature cocktail for the event. So at Cherokee, it was involving. It's supposed to involve some kind of local spirit. So it was North Carolina moonshine. It had, I think, some grenadine, some blue stuff in there. I think some pineapple juice.
Cacao, I think it was.
Yes,
I
yes.
can't
So
pronounce the dang thing.
I think it was round 2 on the first day. Some of the guys with that I know from North Carolina, I think all but one of them and myself lost the round. So like everybody was not really feeling it after round 2, and that was the thing where I was like, guys, we need to pick me up. Let's go get some Combat Juice, and it was a crowd pleaser. It was definitely a hit.
Yep.
I mean, I knew that it,
I did a small focus group with the Wives Club. They definitely had some good reviews for it.
Seth, can you please explain the Wives Club? Because
we're getting way ahead. We need to get to the actual. Like, is there any more other things that you need to talk about?
Yeah, okay,
like FLG news. Then we'll talk about the Wives Club.
For chat, because chat asked, I am working on the Combat Juice for Rocky Mountain Open. I'm working with the
chat recommended. What was it? KR Quinn.
I need some advice.
He called it Buffalo Booze. Buffalo Booze.
Buffalo Blues.
Booze.
Okay. Buffalo Blues. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I've got a call with the bar on Friday to try and help figure out what this drink is, and also we try to have a percentage of all sales of the Combat Juice go towards a local charity. In Cherokee, it was going towards an organization that helped children in the area. I'd like to do something in Colorado. If you have a charity in Colorado that you think that we should be supporting with the sales of Combat Juice, please tell us. All right, now on to BAO, guys. That is
cool kicker. I have an idea, but I don't know how feasible it is, but I'm going to float it right now on air.
All right, just do it.
I've seen in the past where local schools have like gaming clubs.
Yeah.
Like, what if we could support a local school club?
Yeah, I know. Dude, I love it. Drink.
Someone in Colorado, go find that club and bring it to kicker.
I love it. Yeah. And
AR Quinn, that's your job.
Yeah, dude, seriously, yeah. And I will even send in a few starter boxes of various game systems to help them get.
I probably could have some things in my closet of shame I could do.
Yeah. You know how they do like food can drives?
Just closet of shame drive. Yeah,
everyone just brings great plastic.
We're on so many tangents tonight.
All right, way too many tangents. We're going to talk about BAO real fast because this is happening in May. People have been asking when are tickets going live? When are tickets going live? The BAO is in a weird transitional phase. We're part of KubelCon in full. However, we're slightly limited in space, so we're trying to figure out just how many tickets we can sell. I do have good news though. If you like the Old World, we're doing a special pre-sale for Old World tickets. This will be the first ever Old World event at an FLG tournament, at least in recent history.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, really, really excited about this. If you're interested in the pre-sale for Old World, hit me up on Facebook or send me a carrier pigeon. Email me. The TO on the West Coast, that his name is Dylan. He is the organizer, and he will be giving out more information on the pre-sale for this. But yeah, if you want to play Old World at BAO, you want to take advantage of the pre-sale because that's the only way to guarantee that you will be able to play. All right. Atlantic City Open, that happens in June. And say you mentioned Jorge, and Jorge, as well as several of the other judges that were judges at Cherokee, have they were widely loved. People loved them at Cherokee. People were really impressed by them. These guys, George, Eric, no, not George, Jorge, Eric, and John. Sorry, I have my notes were misspelled there. Jorge, Eric, and John, three of our judges.
Some people do call him George in person. I'm always like, it's definitely not spelled George. It is Jorge. I'm like, that's Jorge.
Yeah, well, his name is Jorge, and he is an amazing human being. He is been helping us out since last year. He did an amazing job at Cherokee, along with Eric and John. So all three of them have been asked to be part of the ACO judge team. ACO is traditionally a little bit larger than Cherokee, so it's going to be a big event. Really excited.
If I remember correctly, ACO was the first FLG event that Jorge had judged for us.
Yes, and that was kind of on the fly too. It was he just stood up to the challenge.
He stepped up when we needed a guy in the moment, and he never looked back.
And man, Jorge's on top of things, man. Like he gets it. Like he is pretty much the perfect judge. So we're very fortunate.
He's working hard. He saved. I'll get to it, but he saved my butt when I needed some food.
Oh, she's awesome. Always happy to help. Champions Cup. That's our big event in September. Yes, we're working on a very key partner. I don't want to tell who this is, but this key partner would be supporting the hobby side of Champions Cup. Champions Cup, of course, will be a very large team tournament event focused, of course, on the competitive side of it. But we want to lean into the hobby part, and we have a partner that we've never really partnered with before. That is I don't know. I will more information to come on this one.
Okay.
And finally, we have the statement. We have to talk about the statement that went out today.
Yep.
We have to be brief, short, and sweet, but it is important for people to know that Frontline Gaming does take its events seriously, and we listen to the community. And moving forward, several things will be in effect at our events. If a repeat offender, cheater is coming to our event, we will prevent them from coming to future events immediately. We're no longer going to. We'll be taking a more impactful,
active approach.
Active approach regarding those things. So we're very, very excited. This will be going into effect immediately. As well, we will be, basically enforcing the hobby element of the hobby requirements for tournaments. We've gotten extremely lax in the past, which is, it's not that terrible a thing, but there's a lot of people that want to go, they're traveling across the country, if not around the world, to come to our events, and they want to have opponents that have, armies that are painted.
And the battle ready standard, which is what was talked about in the statement, is also the standard for GW events. So it's the community as a whole is raising a standard, and we're just trying to be in line with the community. I think.
Exactly. Traditionally, we've used the 3-color minimum, which was kind of abused. People would literally put 3 dots of paint on a shoulder pad and call it a day, and it's like, that's not really in the spirit of the game here.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are going to be moving towards a battle ready standard as GW uses, as well as many other events use. That will not be in effect for Rocky Mountain Open, because we want to give people a time to adjust the 3-color minimum. But by ACO, I would assume that will be the baseline.
Yeah. So just spread the word to your friends. I mean, it's we should all be endeavoring to do better every time we hobby. And this is I'm full of tangents tonight. I'm sorry.
Let's not do any. Okay, just do it. This is the tangent show. Let's just do it. Get out of here.
I had a friend that once upon a time worked in MMOs, online MMOs, and he would never play them. He would paint all the time. And he was like, no one could ever take a paint a model away from you, Seth. Yeah. And it's like if you spend time building and painting a model, that time is always valuable. That time is always useful. And I was like, you know what? Fair point. So, if you have to spend a little bit more time getting your army up to that battle ready standard, that is time, in my opinion, that is used well, because it's never going to be a thing that you can't use because it's at that standard again.
Yeah, exactly. And it honestly really does just make the whole event or the whole experience that much more immersive too. Like it just,
I had a random friends show up to the event that I had no idea they were going to be there, and they were super impressed with how everything looked.
Oh, good.
That's cool.
Love hearing that. Hey guys, time for nerd news. Let's get Nicky Dee in here. Nicky Dee, take it away. What's happening in the world of pop culture?
All right, I brought one thing to the table today, but it's a very big thing. James Gunn, his takeover, his show running for the DC movie universe. They start filming for Superman Legacy tomorrow, February 29th. So, I mean, it'll be a few years before we really get to see the movie and everything. But, Seth, Kicker, are we going to be excited? Seth, I know you're a DC Comics guy. Are we going to be excited for this new universe and new DC under the leadership of James Gunn? How are we feeling?
Oof.
I mean, certainly I've enjoyed some his films. I don't know.
He's not that excited.
I want Henry, and I know I'm not getting Henry. But that being said, there's been plenty of times where I didn't want Robert Pattinson as Batman, and then I got him as Batman, and I was like, you know what? I enjoyed him. Yeah. So I don't want to prematurely judge, but I can't, I can't say I don't want to see Henry.
And Nick, you're gonna hate that I say this, but out of all the superheroes in the world, I hate Superman. He can't have X-ray vision, laser vision. He can't fly, have super strength, and super speed. He's got too much going for him. And I'm like, dude, he's got to have more than just one kryptonite.
Kicker, I got to interrupt you, and you need to get a notepad and write this down, because Kara Quinn just had a good idea for the charity.
Notepad, let's do it.
Children's Hospital at the It's Anschutz, ANSHUTZ Medical Center would be a great place to donate toys and models.
Perfect. Awesome. I'm assuming this is one in Colorado, right? For the RMO.
It is. Coincidentally, I know some. I know a couple of pharmacists that work there, Kicker. So we'll talk about that offline.
But I have my notes here. Thank you. Was this Kara Quinn who just? Thank you so much.
Yep. Awesome. The one thing I'll note for everybody as it goes to Superman and the DC universe, when the DC universe is done well, like the DC comic universe was, or whether it was Batman the animated series or Justice League animated series, when DC is done well, I think it's even better than Marvel, where it's got higher highs, but it's got lower lows though too. And I want good DC movies back in my life. That's all
I
that
do.
I'm
Oh
asking.
yeah, no, I want him to. I'm not.
Fingers crossed.
I just Henry's my boy.
All right. Well, okay, we've got Superman. There's something that I want to just, I don't know, toss out there. I saw it last night. It's been getting hyped up pretty. I've been getting targeted ads. I don't know if we get the same sort of targeted ads, but Shogun on Hulu. Have you guys even heard about this?
I've seen that pop up too.
Yeah, like Ann and I were gonna watch. My wife and I were gonna watch something totally unrelated, but this, it's like, oh, it's now live. Watch it now. Here's an ad. Watch. And I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll give it a shot. Holy, it's the production value is amazing. I was totally in, like we are watching this. Unfortunately, it's all in Japanese. So
I'm out. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, So,
I have a weird pet peeve.
So no, I don't mind. Like, I am literate. I don't mind reading the subtitles. The problem is that, like, we were eating cheese and crackers and like looking down at food all the time, so we weren't able to compose a beautiful cracker with cheese and proper distribution of toppings and sauces and stuff. So we're like, this is something we eat while we're like eating pizza or something where we can like focus on the screen, not on the.
My argument is, if I'm watching a visual medium like a film or a movie or a TV show, and you're making me focus on the bottom third of the screen all the time to read the text, I'm not seeing the whole visual medium.
I get that, but it makes it a little bit more realistic, right? You're having a Japanese guy speaking Japanese as opposed to bad English, or not bad English, but like accent English. All right. But the production value alone was amazing. So it's like a gorgeous series. Like, it's going to be amazing, at least just to watch visually. You just,
And unfortunately, I can't watch it because I'd have to be reading.
What about you, Nicky Dee? Do you
read?
Do you read while you watch TV?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of subtitles when watching TV, movies, that sort of thing. My wife and I have very much joined that trend of like millennials or Gen Zers. We're in the millennial group, but that watch pretty much everything with subtitles now, just so that we get just so we know what's being said and everything else like that.
That was just my wife. I really did.
No,
because like we're watching like Chopped or like Shark Tank, and she has the subtitles on. I'm like, I don't understand why this is, but whatever.
Yeah, it's totally not related to the fact that I'm probably going to lose hearing at a young age from going to too many metal concerts. But no, I don't know. It takes some getting used to, but now I almost can't watch without subtitles now. And actually, guys, this wasn't in the show notes.
Did you need subtitles this weekend while playing?
No, but what I was going to say though, it's like Friday night, I'm going to see Dune Part 2.
Yes,
I'm not going to have subtitles. Like, it's going to throw me off.
Are you going to be okay? Are you going to be okay?
I'm going to go see it this weekend too, and I won't.
It's Dune Part 2. I'm going to be okay.
Oh, sweet guys. All right, Seth, take it away. What's happening in our main segment tonight?
So we're talking about Cherokee Open. We kind of been nibbling around the subject, but all three of us were there. We had a fantastic time as always. But let's tell some stories from the event before we get into the event results. So kicker, this is our third year of Cherokee. All three of us there, all 3 years. It's been a blast. What was different about this year than other years? What was different from your experience this year from other years?
Well, okay, for starters, we're constantly innovating, adding new things. We have the achievement dice, that people really like. We had the combat juice that Nick had alluded to. But for me, the thing that really stood out is the fact that we have people now, just like the three of us, that have gone for 3 years as well. This has become a tradition. This is their thing that they do in February. They go to Cherokee with their crew. And so that would really surprise me. I had so many. The event has only grown, right? It's like the repeat, I guess, attendee is like 90 something %. So we're only getting new people coming in. And it's
I've heard a lot of people say something that surprised me, that this was like their favorite event of the year. Things like, and like, these are people that I saw go to like LVO.
Yeah, these are people saying, oh yeah, I mean, Adepticon's cool, Nova's cool, but like, and LVO's cool, but they just love Cherokee. And now that it's become this like fixture in their, I guess, their annual calendar. They go to Cherokee as a road trip with their crew. They're spending the weekend up there. People are starting to bring more of their families. I know, Seth, that your wife came, and there's
been there.
Significant others that came along. People are just making it a thing for them each year, which makes me really happy. It's like, okay, cool. We did the right thing choosing to do an event out here. On the land.
I think we've also been evolving the food in the hall. That's been expanding year after year.
Yeah.
It was great this year. I had breakfast and lunch in the hall every day. In fact, this is like a little feather in your cap, Kicker, to prove your point that you always say it is some of the best food on the resort. My wife, there's a Gordon Ramsay style food court, and she loves going to it. And she went to it the first morning and was like disappointed in the quality of breakfast sandwich that she got. And I had breakfast sandwiches in the hall every morning, and I was like, they're great. And so the Sunday I was like, come down to the hall and get a coffee and a breakfast sandwich there. And it was better in her opinion than the Gordon
dude,
Ramsay
that makes me so damn happy to hear. And like a lot of people think like it's all BS when we're saying like the food's really good and it's made just for us. Guys,
I
met Ruben.
kept
Ruben is a
track of
chef
something that I think is very important to a lot of people listening.
Shoot.
Every morning I got a coffee and a croissant breakfast sandwich, and that cost me $9, which for a coffee and a breakfast sandwich at a resort like this, you couldn't get a Starbucks for $9.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
And then for lunch, I got 2 orders of chicken tenders, and that cost me $12.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, I mean, like, I'm not lying when I say like they make this food for us, and it's their chef for that restaurant. I met Ruben. He is the head chef from New York. He is like a professional, like amazing chef that is sitting there just making whatever we want. It's I don't know. I've been really, really proud of that. The food range has always been really, really nice too. Yeah. So if you get bored with chicken tenders, which is a very common Frontline Gaming event food, they had everything from pizza to nachos and quesadillas.
Yeah. And they had burgers and everything was there. And they had food. We had dinner in the hall every night, or well, not every night, Friday and Saturday night, not
Friday and Saturday. Yeah. And people, and this year what we did is we allowed the hall, we had the food served way longer hours at night so that people, Underworlds and Legion, they stayed late, dude. They played till like 11 o'clock at night, just drinking and eating.
That sounds about right for those groups.
Yeah. I think 40K, it's a lot of the 40K guys, we start a little earlier and they were ready to call it quits after 3 rounds of 40K. But the other game systems, they stayed in the hall till late rolling dice and especially on taco night, they were there for a while. Yeah. So sweet, man.
Yeah, food was great. The venue's still great. I can't say stress enough. If you go into this event in the future, make sure you get part of the FLG room block, because I specifically know the price for the room was about $150 a night in our room block and $500 a night if you weren't in the room block.
How do you know that story, Seth? Who did you call on Thursday as you're driving up while he's busy setting up?
Kicker, I don't know what it was, guys, but after the show last week, like getting ready, I for some reason was like, I need to make sure I have my hotel confirmation number. And I check Wednesday night before Cherokee, and I see that I indeed have a room booked under the room block for Thursday night and checking out Friday. And I was like, well, that ain't right. I'm supposed to be there through Sunday. And this is my wife's birthday weekend, so like I can't just wing it. And so I called the hotel on Wednesday night and was like, hey, I messed up my reservation. And they were like, yep, we can get you the room for the weekend. But you won't be getting the room rate for the Friday and Saturday night. I was like, oh, well, how much is the room? They're like $500 a night. I was like, yeah. And I said it to some friends. I was like, look, if it was just Seth going, I'd find someone's floor to crash on, because that basically I did the math and it was an extra $700 just in the cost of the room for us to stay those 2 nights. And I was like, but it's my wife's birthday weekend. I don't want to make her like crash in someone's room, whatever. I was like, I either get the room rate or I'm paying the extra $700. That's my options. And so they were like, well, if you talk to the event coordinator that runs the group rate, they might be able to get you the group rate. And they're like, Kicker, buddy, please, can I have the group rate for 2 more nights? And Kicker saved my butt, which I appreciated.
I had to pull some serious favors though, because they're basically like, hell no. I'm like, oh no. This is really important to me, please.
So the point is, don't make Seth's mistake when booking for future events. Make sure you get the correct number of nights, because I would have been out another $700 just in room fees. But anyway, I did want to, okay, so Nicky and Dee and I, before we get into our performance, I did have kind of one important story about the community that I wanted to share. But of course, we can all jump in and share our stories from the weekend. But the big one for me was the formation of the Wives Club. Yeah. And Kicker, you were semi-involved in this, but I don't want to go into too much detail to the individual in question, but there was a young woman at the event that was having a very emotional, personal issue that came up early in the event, I think Friday morning.
She was a player. Yeah, she was
a player, and she was very distraught. And she had come to Adam and then Kicker to help get the situation resolved as best we can. And from a logistics standpoint, Kicker and Adam were all over it. They had this situation handled. From an emotional standpoint, we are not the 3 people you come to solve your emotional crisis.
I mean, Seth, I don't understand the concept of empathy. Like I just don't understand.
So I was like, I'm like, this girl is extremely upset and having a breakdown right now. We have solved the logistic issue, but we have not solved her emotional problem. And I was like, okay, and Kicker are not equipped to deal with this, but I know who is. And I was like, I'm going to call my wife. And I was actually about to call my wife when I looked up and saw one of my other buddies' wives walking by. And I called her over real quick. And I was like, I told her what was going on. And I told her, like, this young woman just needs some friends and a safe space right now. Can you guys just hang out with her for a bit and help her calm down? And she was all over it. She was all in. Then I called my wife, and in the process of calling my wife, I found 2 other of my friends' wives, and they basically like formed the circle of like, we will look after this young woman and make sure she is comfortable and taken care of, which is essentially those wives have now bonded through trauma of the situation. The young woman rallied quite well and was hanging out and enjoying herself the rest of the weekend, which I was really glad to see that she was able to still enjoy her weekend after something like that. But then the wives club has formed. They've actually been texting quite frequently since the event kicker with different logo designs, and trying to figure out what logo to get for their matching jean jackets.
I mean, this is amazing. This is amazing. Can Frontline Gaming sponsor? Frontline Gaming will sponsor the wives club. Yes.
So there, it was good to see them come together and kind of gel as a group.
But damn it, don't you love this community? Like stuff like this spontaneously happens, and the community comes together to take care of itself. I mean, I love it, man.
It was also funny because like my wife went out Saturday to go see a friend nearby, but the other wives kept checking on me. It was like they were like, okay, well, your wife isn't here to check on you. We'll check on you to make sure you're. So it was nice just to have that kind of, the camaraderie you get when you hang out with the guys you play with. That's kind of extended to our wives and our families. It's been nice to see.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah,
all right. So Seth, Nicky Dee, both you guys were actually competing in the tournament. I was, of course, working the tournament. I did get to play during the meet and greet, and I played, I think, during round 4 just against Mike Gandolfo. Just the 2 of us were just kind of rolling dice, having fun. We basically played one game over the. Say what?
You were demoing the Krask
outpost.
We
were demoing the terrain on our own table. But yeah, no. So I played a little bit for fun, but you guys were there playing competitively. You had goals. I guess let's start off with Seth. What was your goal?
So my goal was 5-1.
Did you hit it?
And newsflash, I did hit it after I was fired as our competitive correspondent round 1. Because I lost round 1 and then Kicker immediately fired me as the role of competitive.
Like, you can't lose round 1, man. Like, no.
So I got the 5-1 the hard way, which I want to give a shout out to my opponents. They were all great. I had the opportunity to play a friend of mine, Doug Henson, on day 2 that I haven't played in 4 or 5 years. So it was really great to play him. But all my games were a lot of fun. It definitely, playing that Hypercrypt list made my brain hurt a little bit because at the end, my opponent would be like, okay, I'm done with my turn. And I would just have to sit there for like 5 minutes, just staring at the board, being like, I can do a million things, but only some of those things are helpful for me. Right. Trying to figure that out. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of good games, a lot of close matchups, a lot of like crazy shenanigans with the Hypercrypt list. 5-1s, I think 6 of them made the top cut. I was outside the top cut. Losing that early round just meant that I wasn't going to have a lot of opponents with high win percentages because I was going to be always being paired into people that already had at least one loss throughout the event. So that hurt my overall placing, but I'm still very happy with the 5-1, particularly with this being a new army for me, with a very different play style for me. So I was very happy with the progress.
Dude, I saw you, I think it was the last day you playing the mirror match, and you were focused. Like, that was the concentration of a master in his.
It was Hypercrypt versus Hypercrypt, so we both could be anywhere at any time that we wanted, and I'd just be like, at the end of our turn, I'd be like, all right, if I go here, how could you?
And normally when I see my friends, whether it's you or any one of my friends, I'm like, oh, what's happening? Good job. I slapping the back. I'm like, no, I am staying away from that table. I'm going to let him focus because this is a big game. Seth, so you had some good games. Nick, what were your goals and did you achieve them?
So my goal was to be 3-3, and how I described it to one of my friends is that I just enjoy being a master of the mid tables. I like, that's my sweet spot. Like, because like I'll win some games and maybe I get paired up into somebody and I face some opponents who are much better than me, and then I'll get a win here and there. But I really enjoy the vibes that are there. But 3-3, and I wanted to have Mephiston kill a lot of things, which he did. So my round 1, I played Dan, who I already mentioned. He was the Death Guard player that made the top 8 and actually made it to the top 4. Round 4, I lost to this guy named Brian Jones. Seth, you talked about Brian Jones last week.
I did.
You want to remind the audience why you talked about Brian Jones?
I called out Brian Jones because Brian Jones is a very accomplished night player for Team USA who went 5-1, losing a narrow game at the end of LVO to miss out on the 6-0 on the top cut. I called him out as someone who could win the whole event.
Yep. So no big deal. I faced him round 4. He beat me by about 50 points, but let me tell you, that was one of the most fun games of 40K
He's a
I've
super
played in
nice
a long
guy.
time. Yeah. And then round 6, I played against Kicker, one of your local guys, Brian Green, who also ran the narrative. And so I came up to him when the pairing split up, and he said, "Hey, it's the end of the event." He's like, "Do you just want to call it and we'll get a drink and have some food? Do you want to play a game and just have fun? Or do you want to go head to head playing to find out which one of us is the true winner?" And I said, we're finding out who's the true winner. Back and forth game. I think he won by 6 points in the end, but each turn it was just a slobber knocker of a game. So I had a great time. All my opponents were wonderful, but especially shout out to the 3 guys who beat me: Dan, Brian, and Brian. Good work, boys.
Dan, Brian, and Brian.
No. Not very creative with the names here, guys, but we work with what we can.
All right. So let's get to some event results, Kicker. Are you ready for this? All right. So best general, that would be your battle points or your battle record placing. Our number 1 was Noah Nunendorfer. I'm embarrassed that I'm having trouble pronouncing Noah's last name because Noah is a Southeastern local and frequently plays RTTs at the store I play RTTs at.
Oh,
so
really?
we cross paths a lot. I just don't know how to pronounce his last name, but super excited for him. I know he's been working real hard repping his T-Sun. So really excited to see Noah take that spot. I have to give some acknowledgement here where it's due. Our number 2, the other man that made it to the finals, was Joshua Campbell, which, if you remember from last week, was Nicky Dee's pick to win the event. So Nicky Dee called it. Joshua, actually, Joe from War Games Live was telling me he made top table and final table at Battle to End Alzheimer's. Yep. So for 2 weeks in a row, he was the final table of War Games Live.
Yeah. So the reason I know Josh is a good player, he's the guy who wins all my local RTTs. So for me, it also just makes me feel better that the guy that I always lose to locally is top finisher or second place finisher.
Champion, man. It makes you champion. And
that's what I think.
You know, that last game was a pretty close game. It was a good game. Yeah,
it was a good back and forth game. And the banter between those 2 guys, they were giving each other a lot of hell, and it was all in good sport. So good times. For our best painted, I got to give the biggest shout out ever in the whole wide world to our friend here in chat, Dean Pritchard. Took first place as best painted. Amazing work with his, I think today I'm going to go with clownfish themed Tyranids, because I always pick a new sea creature for the theme of his Tyranids. But Dean has been a hard grinder, if that makes sense, where he's always out there going to events, trying to place well with his army, getting the feedback from the judges, trying to improve his army every single time, really grinding for that top placement. And so I was really excited to see him make that, not make just top cut, but also the best painted. So it's great job, man. Really proud of you. Another Hobby Goblins team member, Eric Mullins, if you remember, who I called out as potentially a winner for best painted, took second place with his, I think it was Chaos Knights. And then Alex Statimo came in third place for best painted. Great job. Lots of great armies on display, guys. There was a lot. There was so many armies up for paint judging, or like on day 1 and 2. I thought about taking my army to get up paint judge for Paragon, and I said, screw it. Not even a chance that I'm getting close to that with my painting.
The Hobby Goblins were out in force at Cherokee.
They were
first and best painted. Yeah.
Quicker. I have a Hobby Goblins jersey now.
Oh, what? How did you get? Are you wait?
I did a jersey trade with Jacob. So he got one of my Legion jerseys, and I got his Hobby Goblin jersey. Very cool. I'm just going to collection of jerseys now. And then Paragon, which, if you remember, Paragon is a combination of paint and tabletop performance. Our number 1 goes to the man I called out to win the event, who put our beloved Nicky Dee in the ground, Brian Jones. Fantastic man. Love spending time with him. Actually, my last round, I got to play next to him, so we got to have some fun kind of messing around with each other.
He was running the Knights, right? He was running the Knights.
He was running the Imperial Knights.
I believe in a Rex. Canis Rex.
Yeah, it was big thing. Yeah, it's on the screen. There's a Lancer. He's that kind of like space-themed basing, that kind of glowing swamp. Our number 2 Paragon was who I called the win the event overall as well. Colin Cochran running Chaos Knights. Apparently, when I say you're going to win an event, I mean overall, not general.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I meant, Nicky Dee.
Yeah, I mean,
I
in
meant
some
overall.
circles, winning the event is Paragon of the hobby,
Yes.
best overall. So, yeah.
And then our third place, another person that beat up on our beloved Nicky Dee and friend of Kickers, Brian. So we just it's a little bit of nepotism, but we love all of our friends, and our friends happen to place well. And I did get to see Brian's display board, and that display board was immaculate. Actually, I think I played a round or two next to Brian as well, because I remember helping him get some score sheets out.
Let's describe his. So Brian is a friend of mine. He's also security at LVO, and he's an all around good guy that helps with setup and strike. Brian has been sending me work in progress photos of not his army, but of his display board, and
that's all hand painted. That thing's ridiculous, man.
Describe it for those.
It's a Custodes army, and he's obviously matched his basing scheme to the display board, but the display board is basically like the Imperial Palace with like tiled and gilded floors, and he's painted. Yeah, it's well, I can't see the top of the image. I'm sorry.
But it's really impressive. And there's even like a sound effect. He's got like a little speaker in there and everything. It's really well done.
All right. Well, moving on over to our friends over in the AOS land. I know our TO, Andrew Simmons, is in chat here. But he sent us this information. Time
out. Andrew Simmons was not just our TO. He was our head judge and our assistant judge and the only judge for a very large Age of Sigmar event. This guy was
that crowd under control pretty well.
He did an amazing job. And so many people came up to me after the event saying like, that was a great judge. Like, he did a great job. So Andrew, you rock. Thank you so much for putting on a great Age of Sigmar event.
And he brings tasty cereal.
He did bring me 3 boxes of limited edition sugary breakfast cereal. So very generous human being.
All right. Number 1 for best general is Che Zola. I think the T's silent, so I'm going to go with Zola. Yeah. Number 2, Mike McKeeby. Number 3 is Walter Brock. And I think I pronounced those 2 correct, at least. Painted, Tobias Kempf is our best painted with this lovely, lovely demon army. Number 2, Connor Tolbert. And number 3, Michael Schlegelmich.
Good luck, yeah.
Schlegelmich. I'm going to go with that, Michael. Email me if I'm wrong.
Sorry.
Paragon, though, I think one of our Paragons is in chat tonight. Scott Delmain here in chat. Scott even has a branded carrying tray. Hell yeah, Scott. Appreciate that. Look at those lovely, lovely Saurus. Definitely. What are they, Seraphon now? They're Saurus in my heart.
Yeah, Seraphon.
Number 2 for Paragon, Mackenzie Ewig, and number 3, Kevin Lathers. Great job for everyone. Super, super excited for everyone to get that recognition. I know you all work hard for it. I know this is a labor of love, and this is what I can give you as my hearty appreciation. So great job, guys.
Awesome stuff.
Any final thoughts on Cherokee?
Man, I want to say,
other than how I'm going to win it next year.
All right, Seth is calling the shots now. No, guys, I really do want to say thank you to everyone that helped make the event possible. I mean, a lot of people helping set up and strike. The judges, we had some regional judges that just were amazing that are becoming part of the team. But also, like, I really want to say thank you to all the audience members, the people that listen to Signals every week that came up and talked to myself, Seth, and Nick. We're just always happy to hear people say they love our show and they listen to us every week. So that was really, really cool. Seth, I gave out, I think, the last few of my Signals from the Frontline stickers. But yeah, it was really cool seeing so many.
Yeah, it's always great running into you guys at events, particularly just to hear. Not that talking in the chat isn't great, but sometimes it feels like you are kind of talking into the void when you do these shows a lot. So when, someone comes up and says, hey man, I listen to your, I watch the VODs every Thursday after they go up. And it just makes my day a little better at work. That's kind of like what fuels us to keep doing this every week. Cause sometimes you feel like you're talking into the black darkness of the internet. And you're like, then someone comes on and is like, nah, man, that makes my Thursday morning better every week. And I'm like, well, I'm definitely doing it now, cause I got to make your morning better. So
yeah, that was good.
Nicky Dee, you popped in.
Yeah, what do you got, man? I know you're pretty excited about a certain feature-length film.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, Cherokee, though, see everybody there next year. I mean, this is the 3rd year that I've gone, right? And I have opponents like Connor that I played round 2, year 1 of Cherokee. that I get to see him here, and I get to see him at LVO if I don't get COVID like happened, this year. Like, these are people that I shared a 3-hour game with them once upon a time a couple of years ago. Yep. And when I see him in the gaming hall, it's a big hug, and it's, hey, when are we grabbing a coffee? When are we grabbing a drink? So it's a really cool experience. The Cherokee feeling is definitely different than other events. Yeah. But I'll let everybody in on maybe a little bit of a secret for Cherokee 2025. I might be walking my way over the hall to the AOS side of things.
Whoa!
Yeah. I've been hearing some rumblings to this effect.
Wow.
Yep. So I've already said I'm likely to be picking up Sigmar, and Scott Dealman, who was Paragon for the Hobby, was one of my road trip buddies. So he's been talking up AOS. Andrew Simmons is a local guy to me as well, has been talking up AOS. So I think I need to be a good company man and try some of the different game assets.
Yeah, of course. So, that was why it's critical.
Not the fact that they do a 3-day 2-2-2 schedule. That has nothing to do.
I really like their schedule. I mean, because at least because I saw Scott, like, he'd be starting at 10 a.m. or something else like that, and like 4 o'clock he's like, hey guys, I'm done. I had like a break in between, and I'm like, that actually sounds like you get a chance to get some sleep or just more time to drink combat juice, which is not either one or both of those things sounds pretty appealing to me.
Yeah, it does. Sounds quite like a quite fun weekend. Yeah. All right. Kicker, I think tonight we're gonna hold on the Frontline Entertainment news. We'll put the pin in that because since we've already gone on for about 50 some minutes. So final thoughts for the night.
I'm going to be painting a lot of painting. My hands will just be permanently stained this brown sludgy color as I weather like crazy. Nick, what are you up to, man?
Spoiler-free review of Dune Part 2 will be. I'll have that next weekend, and then I'm going to be painting lots of Nurgle things. I'm back on Nurgle train. That's what I'm focusing on now.
I think the last time you were on the Nurgle train, you got sick though. I'd be careful.
Yeah,
that's true. Hey, we'll see how.
I'm waiting for some paints to come in so I can finish off that test Tyranid. I've got some ideas on things I want to work on for the other armies, but nothing's pressing right now. So I'm kind of just going to hobby at my leisure, and then I might be spreading some well-regulated mandatory democracy.
Okay, great. Oh, right. The game.
But that's all we got for this week. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in with us next week. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday. Good night.
Good night, guys.